You know, sometimes you just want to put your car into sport mode and tear it down the street, but not only is that illegal and unsafe, so don't do it, and if you happen to be in a city like London, you're probably going to be stuck in traffic anyway. That's where the Serafim R1 Plus racing wheel comes in. Get the thrill of racing right at your desk without breaking the law. So unlike other racing wheels out there, this one supports Android, iOS, as well as multiple other devices like the PS4 and the PC, so if that's something that interests you, keep watching to find out how well this racing wheel works. So here's the box for the racing wheel. It's pretty big. I mean, my camera zoomed out all the way and it's still taking up most of the frame. You can see it says Serafim R1 Plus here. It supports both iOS and Android. I'll mainly be testing this with Android, but of course this steering wheel also supports the PS3, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and the PC, so a whole load of different platforms, which is absolutely great. Anyways, let's get this box open. You've got a quick start guide, and before you start panicking, I know that's Chinese, but flip it around and you've clearly got instructions in English too. Rummaging around the box, you also get this little thing too. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's what you turn to tighten the optional mount to your desk. Next you have the warranty card, so go ahead and register for 12 months of warranty. For that one person who doesn't have internet, you also got this CD with what I assume are drivers for the PC. Next you've got a USB-A to micro USB cable. Rummaging through a bit more in the box and you'll find the phone holder for the racing wheel. It's telescopic, so it should fit most phones. You also have this Bluetooth box to connect to your phone. It will need 3 AAA batteries, which aren't included, and that does also mean I need to look through my manual to find some. Here we have the pedals. You've got some grip on the bottom. There's 2 RJ11 style cables, or telephone cables as some would call it. You've got the brake pedal on the left and the gas pedal on the right. Let's get to the actual steering wheel, but actually before we do that, this is the optional mount for your desk. So here's the wheel with its captive USB-A cable. That means it's permanently attached to the wheel. And that also means if you damage the cable, then you'll probably need to replace the whole thing. Anyways, the steering wheel itself is stated to weigh 2,600 grams and measures in at 270 by 260 by 278 millimeters. It's smaller than most steering wheels, but to be honest, it still feels comfortable to hold. You've got rubber grips on the side, which does actually feel very premium to hold, but the same can't be said for the top or bottom of the wheel. These parts feel very plasticky, if that's a word. I don't think it is, but moving on. Here on the left, you've got the D-pad. On the right, you've got 4 action buttons. You've got what's equivalent to L1, L2, R1 and R2. Around the back, you've also got L3 and R3. You can also see the paddle shifters here. Putting it back around and pressing them, you can hear how loud they are. They're very tactile, and yes, I'll stop pressing them now. On the right, hidden away slightly behind the wheel, is a gear stick, which is also very clicky and loud. Back to the front, this is where the phone holder goes into just by clipping it on, and then you just place your phone on the holder. Simple. On the bottom you've got 4 small suction pads and 3 slightly bigger ones. Quick maths, that's 7 in total. Around the back there's a USB-A port to plug in your PS4 or Xbox One controller. To the left there's a port to plug in the pedals, and finally here you have the channel indicator. As mentioned earlier, all in all the racing wheel does feel premium, but I'm afraid the same can't be said for the pedals. They feel very plasticky, and although I wouldn't say it's fragile, I do wonder how long it will last from excessive use. There's a good amount of resistance on the pedals, so it does spring back nicely when you let go of them, and pushing them down is easy enough. It doesn't feel like you're using a leg press machine, so nothing to worry about there. Before I go ahead and show you how to get this racing wheel set up, I can indeed confirm that this wheel works with multiple devices. I've tested it with the PS4 off screen, and as you can see here with the PC too. In order to get it working with the PC, you'll need to install drivers for the wheel. I'll place the link to that in the description below if you need it. The R1 Plus does indeed support vibration feedback, which of course works with all the platforms I mentioned earlier except for iOS and Android. Playing Burnout Paradise on the PC, I did initially notice the wheel wasn't as responsive as I would have liked it to be, but I was able to resolve that by increasing the steering sensitivity very easily using a combination of buttons on the wheel. I'm definitely grateful that option is available. I'll mainly be testing this racing wheel with Android, so this is pretty much the extent to which I tested this on the PC and the PS4. Both the foot pedals and the steering wheel work as stated on both platforms. Anyways, let's get this set up with my Sony Xperia 1 and see how the world's first mobile racing wheel works and whether or not it's worth buying. Firstly, grab the phone holder and snap it onto the steering wheel itself. You can see it extends, so I'll be placing my phone on that shortly, but before that, get a hold of the Bluetooth box, remove the battery cover and place 3 AAA batteries inside, and then put the cover back on. Plug the RJ11 connector from the pedals into the Bluetooth box, then hold down the power button for about 3 seconds and the LED should start blinking blue. Go to your phone and into Bluetooth settings, tap on pair new device and then select Serafim R1 Plus. Accept the pairing request, then give it a few seconds to connect. Once connected, the blue LED on the Bluetooth box will blink slowly as opposed to how it did when I first powered it on. Download the Serafim Play app from the Play Store if you haven't done so already, then start the app. You'll see two options now. Tap on Serafim R series and once again give it a few seconds to complete the setup. You'll now see lots of different supported games which you can scroll and swipe through. Not all the games here are free, so do bear that in mind. Selecting a game will show you what settings you need to change in the game in order to get it working with the wheel. So for instance on Asphalt 9 you'll need to make sure tilt steer is enabled. Tapping on download on the right corner will take you to the Play Store page where you can download and launch the game. Place your phone on the holder and that's it, you're ready to play. As you might have deduced already, playing Asphalt 9, the wheel itself isn't what's steering the vehicle in the game. The wheel is simply acting as a prop, but when you turn the wheel, you're obviously tilting your phone. The steering is essentially being done by the gyroscope in your phone, so the steering wheel doesn't need to be powered on for it to work with this game. Now, what's important here is that the foot pedals are powered, and that's what's connected to the phone via Bluetooth. So on Asphalt 9, the left pedal acts as a drift/brake and reverse button, and the right pedal acts as a boost button. It's pretty simple in this game, and even though I was somewhat initially disappointed that the wheel itself isn't an input in the game, the combination of the holder and the phone's gyroscope does actually do a pretty good job. Now if we move to a different racing game like Road Racing 3, the foot pedals behave differently. The left pedal now acts as a brake and with the right pedal you can accelerate, and that's pretty much what you would expect. The right pedal does appear to be analog, so I do have control over the amount of gas or acceleration I want to apply depending on how much I push the pedal down, which is certainly a good thing and does make the racing experience that much better. Now taking into consideration the racing wheel isn't powered on, the wheel itself isn't connected to your phone, none of the buttons on the wheel will work, so things like the paddle shifters, the D-pad, the action buttons, basically none of the buttons including the shifter will work with your phone. It's just the foot pedals that will work depending on the racing game you're playing. Although most of the racing games I played worked well using the wheel alongside the phone's gyroscope, games like Mario Kart where the tilting is more sensitive will probably require some getting used to. I clearly need to put more hours in this game as I'm absolutely terrible at it. Another important factor when considering purchasing this racing wheel is that it only turns 180 degrees. Now, if you're buying this strictly to use with your phone, the fact that it doesn't turn 360 degrees is actually a good thing. Otherwise, you'd be looking at your phone upside down at certain points and probably triggering the screen orientation too. That wouldn't be much fun at all, it would actually be pretty annoying. Now, if you're planning to use this with a PC or a console, 360 degree steering would be important on racing sims to get that more authentic feel. Otherwise, if you're playing arcade style racing games, it's not really necessary. Overall, the Serafim R1 Plus is a pretty good racing wheel. At 100 quid it costs about half the price of the competition. The wheel itself is well built and feels premium. Even if the same can't be said about the pedals, they work as well as expected. The wheel supports lots of different platforms, so you don't need to purchase multiple racing wheels for multiple devices, you just need one, so it's saving you money and space. The fact that it also works with Android and iOS is what makes it different from the rest, and testing it with my phone for this review was something I really enjoyed. I don't typically play racing games on my phone, but this wheel made it so much fun that I actually see myself using it more. The lack of 360 degree wheel rotation isn't great if you're into racing simulators, but you won't have much to complain about if you're playing arcade racing games or if you're just using it with your phone. If you're interested, I've placed links to the wheel in the description below alongside a 10% discount code. This has been Raju Rahman from Tectonic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you, please subscribe and like, that would really help me out. And don't forget to check out these other videos too.